We're gonna be like so close together.
No, wait a minute.
It's gonna be so hot with Lara standing up there going, "Oh, no, it's good, it's very nice."
Because there's supposed to be 4 people in front of the bleachers.
So like we're
Really?
really crushed.
Because you go bleachers, then we all go
Come in here and like see how they're including everybody.
because it goes bleachers, then we sit here, and then there's the ramps, and we wait in front, and then we go around.
That's right.
If there's only this much
to
space,
go
we
over.
imagine trying to stand out. Dresses are gonna get
Yeah, because the carpet and stuff. Dresses are gonna be out like whoosh and the stuff we
Kylie's and Michelle's are long too, like on the floor long.
and then call your name, and then you walk over, and you get halfway there, and then you go. Just shake.
No, I thought it was. We'll find it. We gotta fix that. We gotta fix this.
You're recruited. You're recruited. You're not.
This is a heel catcher, you guys.
Did you tell him I was coming back here eventually?
Why is it so hard to pull now? There we go.
For a sec.
Mine are. Hello.
Might be a little nosy, but
Be natural. You paint all over your face.
Don't paint his pen.
this will be all edited out anyway.
Well, that's nice to know. We can start swearing now.
Moving. Oh.
Will you be working on the hall every day?
Yes.
We'll be working from now every day.
Yeah. What's the theme of the graduation?
Right, like Big City.
Yeah. I'm bringing a
Like
whole
Big
bunch.
City.
When we getting it? Grad day, I hear.
Yeah. Really?
I hope, because you want to get all the grads to sign it, and it's kind of hard because not a lot of people
Come back on awards day.
Do really?
Come on, Paul, let's practice.
I don't know what to say.
Every
For the honorary
year.
graduate,
Yeah.
Paul's gonna where's the goddamn piece of paper?
Oh, I've been studying for weeks.
Sure you have. Yeah. Chris, wanna come over and study for lit? What do you want on your pizza?
What's the other one?
Surveillance. The new one.
I have that on CD. For me, one's better quality. I'll check that out.
This one. Good Times. This one by Tom Cochran.
I'm going home.
So everything under schedule?
Actually, a little bit ahead.
Ahead.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, the rest of the fixing up in here and
Yeah. The rest of the decorations, we got lights, some spotlights and floodlights to do. And last minute decoration, there's a big sign that goes across the top there, class of '89.
Dad has an excellent work. Went by very quickly.
Any particular thing or event or person that made it a good year?
Knit that trip of '89. So that was a lot of fun. We had a blast up there. It was like we went up for 5 days. And we just had a great time. Best time I've had up there anyway.
Next year in the fall, I'm going to Coastal College. For the university transfer, I'm taking criminology and psychology. And I want to be something in the law. Preferably, I want to be a police officer in the RCMP.
Anything special about this year?
Knit-knit.
Whatever he said.
Yeah, knit-knit. It was a lot of fun. Something you just can't miss if you're in grade 12. Yeah, it was lots of fun.
We're ready when you're ready.
Well, they're ready, I hope. Okay, they're ready. Now we're ready.
David, remember there are 6 girls ahead of you before you start, all right?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stellys Grad Music Ceremony. As next year's chairperson of the graduation executive and member this year, myself, Star Lucas, and Andrea Michigan will be your masters of ceremonies for the beginning of the evening. Before the evening gets underway, we would like to remind you this is a non-smoking building and that flash photography is not permitted during the ceremonies. There will be time later for pictures. We would now like to introduce to you the grade 12 class of 1989.
Check 6 News.
Are you excited about tonight?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Mixed feelings, right?
Yeah.
A little bit nervous.
Low.
Well, there's stumble all over that one, eh? You're set for tonight? Wow.
How are those heels working out?
Fine.
How are those heels working out?
Good.
How are those heels working out? Oh, you don't have
Working good.
Good practiced already, eh? Next treatment you get tonight. Yes, nobody else. Let me show. Are you ready? Oh, yeah. Great.
I have Gary Hemsworth right next. Gary? And Steve, right? And Corey? We're missing somebody.
Why are we standing?
Back to the change rooms, please. Must be in the art room at 6:30. I advise you to have your limos drop you off here about 6:15 because parking is going to be unreal.
Graduation and after grad with the objectives that nobody will be injured and there'll be no vandalism to any property. That's the main
Okay. The last speech, I'll go ahead. Couple of things. We're having our first 10-year reunion next Friday for the first grad class. That's how far it's come. The after-grad traditions have really developed. The first 2 years, the after-grad It's a great evening. There is no grad like a Stellys Grad, okay? And I say that. The traditions, the family traditions, the decorations, Lisa Dickinson, Angie Wilson, the others who worked on these decorations, they're just fabulous. I don't know how each group keeps outdoing the group before them, but they're just beautiful. As you come in tonight and be part of it, and feel part of it, it's just an exciting time. You've earned it, you deserve it. You just have a marvelous weekend, and just make sure we're all here Monday morning.
excited?
No. I'm nervous as hell. Tell you the truth.
Nervous about you.
Oh, you know, it's just one of those things. You know, you don't do this every day.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome.
We got dropped off at Harbor Towers at 10, and we were wondering if we could be picked up at 1:30, because you said for an extra, you said something about $40.
I don't know, I have to phone office if there is another job lined up. Now, if there is no job lining up, then there's no problem picking up.
Okay.
Buddy, we were going to go out to the north side of the city.
Somewhere. That's right.
Back it up.
By the time he shakes 150 a pair, he gets 150 marbles. Oh, hold on a second. We gotta have a good one. Okay, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stellys Recognition Ceremonies of 1989. As next year's Student Government Prime Minister and the Graduation Executive Chairperson of 1990, Andrea Whitcomb and myself, Sarah Lucas, will be your Masters of Ceremonies for the beginning of the evening. There has been many hard hours of work put into this exciting evening, and we hope that you thoroughly enjoy yourselves.
Before the evening gets underway, we would like to remind you that this is a non-smoking building and that flash photography is not permitted during the ceremonies. There will be time later for pictures. We would now like to introduce to you the grade 12 class of 1989.
Congratulations, graduates. May we please all rise and take part in the singing of O Canada.
Student Government Prime Minister of 1989, who will be individually presenting grade 12 students in the year.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that we introduce to you tonight individually the grade 12 class of 1989. I would ask that you please hold your applause until all the names have been called. Thank you. Mr. Kurt John Groth. Mr. James Gordon Cameron. Mr. Darrell Edward Beckler. Mr. Danny Wade Andruko. Mr. Paul Larson Titterton. Mr. Clinton Jeffrey Scott.
Mr. Byron Philip Knight. Mr. Eric William Galt. Mr. Barry Courtney Mosier. Mr. Robert Scott Biggers. Mr. Matthew Leonard Kratz. Mr. Bradley Derek Franklin.
Mr. Greg James Hall. Mr. Glenn Kamasuk Smith. Mr. Arn Close Heineman. Mr. Douglas James Walker. Mr. Jesse Robert Prokop. Mr. Christopher Robert Carl Johnson. Mr. Ian Mark Banfield. Mr. Jason Donald Felker. Mr. Kevin Douglas Law. Mr. Corey Christopher Hanley. Mr. Murray Kent Webb Bigham. Mr. Warren Scott Brander. Mr. Lawrence Gordon Paul Johnson. Mr. Timothy Brian Scaber. Mr. Dwayne Murray Kennett. Mr. Bruce Donald Delisle. Mr. Stuart Martin O'Connor. Mr. Laszlo Charles Safranik. Mr. Jagvinder Sunner. Mr. David Gordon Smart. Mr. Travis Wade Brassington. Mr. Peter James Alexander McSween. Mr. Ian Bruce Caldwell. Mr. Mark Stephen Jones. Mr. Herb Gordon Roberts. Mr. Colin Donald Rolls. Mr. Christopher Robert Blackie. Mr. Carl Ingram Nordstrom. Mr. Graham Wallace Rice. Mr. Jeffrey Allen Cooper. Mr. Bruce Roderick Campbell. Mr. Paul Dean Bunyan. Mr. Roger Leroy Smith. Mr. John William Trelford. Mr. Robert Ashley Weeb. Mr. Dean Niels Hardman. Mr. Roy Henry Jensen. Mr. Paulo Joseph Salvatore Scaletta. Mr. Josh Paul Quinney. Mr. Michael John Pierre Beaton. Mr. Michael Christopher Burgess. Mr. Gary Edward Hermson. Mr. Quentin Radar Sivertson. Mr. Rodney Aaron Thomas.
Mr. Steve Daniel Tarlett. Mr. Sho Hayes. Mr. Corey Ian Eustache. Mr. Donald Liu. Mr. Shane Adair Linton. Mr. Richard Louis Menegozo. Miss Sherry Lorene Birtwhistle. Miss Kelly Charlene Begg. Miss Jeanette Teresa Milkey. Miss Tanis Ildiko Burkhart. Miss Angela Christine Wilson. Miss Anne Britt Ravine. Miss Kimberly Jane Hubman. Miss Julie Ann Wolford. Miss Karen Michelle Golly. Miss Kyla Nicole Tamara Thompson. Miss Lori Lee O'Connell. Miss Lori Jean Steele. Miss Michelle Lee Kershaw. Miss Joy Marlene Grant. Miss Tanya Charlene Boone. Miss Erin Denise Dabbs. Miss Lisa Elizabeth Alexandra Dickinson. Miss Susan Elizabeth Hill. Miss Jennifer Jean Marie Suzanne Ferry. Miss Trina Louise Lightbody. Miss Jennifer Elizabeth Riggs. Miss Marnie Vanessa Scaife. Miss Laura Miriam Houghton. Miss Sherry Leanne Gruber. Miss Melanie Ann Goldberg. Miss Tara Dawn Lack. Miss Margaret Julie Skaken. Miss Michelle Gail Carlini. Miss Leloy Hayes. Miss Kimberly Luann Claxton. Miss Erin Nicole Honey. Miss Sheila Camille Henry. Miss Stacy Lynn Ingalls. Miss Mary Claire Morrison.
Miss Tricia Lynn Wicker. Miss Beverly Eileen Wake.
Miss Susan Elizabeth Mackey. Miss Michelle Alicia Brianna Hodge. Miss Robin Lillian Snelling. Miss Julie Ann Malone. Miss Karen Lee Haggett. Miss Helen Lois Wilson.
Miss Eileen Catherine Zabo. Miss Elizabeth Joy Atkinson. Miss Tara Gale Dyke. Miss Laura Lee Leatherdale. Miss Caroline Marie Ndai. Miss Michelle Lee Watson.
Miss Darcy Ann Johns. Miss Carolyn Bowman. Miss Kelly Elaine Penny. Miss Carla Bridget Ellen Zapat. Miss Tiffany Jean Eastham. Miss Lisa Marie Jordan.
Miss Rachel Elizabeth Lloyd. Miss Lori Ann Francis Bibb. Miss Ann Sylvia Tassari. Miss Irene Ann Michelle Tite. Miss Sherilyn Marie Miller. Miss Kuldip Kaur Deenshaw. Miss Catherine Louise May. Miss Patricia Coral Nairi Chamberlain.
Miss Erin Elizabeth Dobbin. Miss Sandra Lee Denbo. Miss Michelle Andrea Morton. Miss Erica Olena Robertson. Miss Jennifer Speardrup. Miss Tammy Alice Broussard.
Miss Anna Katerina Weiserholm-Gusta. Miss Hillary Ann Colley. Miss Michelle Roseanne Passmore. Miss Bernadette Kindo White. Miss Jennifer Lee Carney. Miss Annette Elizabeth Mendiel.
Congratulations, graduates. We now take great pleasure in turning the podium over to Miss Susan Mackey and Mr. Travis Brassington, who will be your Masters of Ceremonies for the remainder of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea and Sarah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed the program so far. I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Travis Brassington.
And this is Miss Susan Mackey. We will be your Masters of Ceremony for the remainder of the evening.
We'd like to take this time to remind you that information regarding the purchase of a video of this evening will be available in the hallway after the proceedings.
Please refer now to the back of your program, which recognizes several companies that have contributed to our recognition ceremony. We would also like to thank Mrs. Knight and Mrs. Waddell for their assistance in fundraising, Mrs. Hunter and the Parent Advisory for setting up the flowers, and Mr. Braun and the Graduation Executive for the year 1989 for bringing it all together. And now, we would like you to please welcome with us Pastor Gerald Mellard of Bethel Baptist Church, who will give the invocation for the grade 12 class. Pastor Mellard.
Will you bow together with me in prayer? Our God and Father, tonight we are gathered here together to celebrate the gift of learning. We thank you for each individual that we have seen recognized tonight already. We thank you for the potential of their lives. And we would just pray, our Father, that as they step out into new vistas to be reached in the world that they will find themselves in, that they might look to you for leading and direction in their lives. We thank you for the keenness of their minds. And we would ask our Father, watch over them, that you will guide and direct their steps aright. And we'll give you thanks and praise you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Mellor. Throughout tonight's program, we will be recognizing a number of students for their contributions and achievements at Stellys. Unfortunately, we cannot possibly name all those deserving recognition, but we will try our best.
First of all, we'd like to congratulate Peter McSween and Roy Jensen for being accepted into Royal Roads Military College.
And to Bev Wake for earning a $1,000 renewable scholarship to Carleton University in Ontario. Good luck to all of you.
At this time, we'd like to introduce Mrs. Marion Lovelace, Chairperson of the Board of School Trustees, who wishes to extend her greetings to the graduating class.
Thank you. Mr. Garraway, honored guests, friends, parents, and relatives, and members of the 1989 class. I'm honored to be here to bring greetings and congratulations from your Board of School Trustees. In doing so, I wish to bring the greetings and congratulations to each member of the partnership that has brought us here this evening. The first group that I wish to recognize, of course, is our family and our parents. Perhaps you'd like to join with me in recognizing their support. Well done, parents. I don't think anybody can sum up in any realistic way what the parents are feeling tonight on behalf of their graduating children. The next group I'd like to recognize is the members of the school system that have worked in a partnership to get you to this point. Teachers and administrators, and I don't just mean the ones that would be most currently in your memory. I look around and I see Mr. Chow. A lot of you will remember Mr. Chow when he was the principal at Brentwood. He's at Keating now. Those of you that were at Keating would remember Dave Christian, who is here tonight as a member of your school board. So things change, but people never cease to care and keep track of you. Our custodial and maintenance staff, our clerical and secretarial staff. I know there's a proud mom out there that was a crossing guard for lots of years, and the school district appreciates every employee and what they contribute to these graduation ceremonies. The third group is your community. There are lots of people that coach and help through your years. One person in particular I want to recognize is an ex-graduate, a boy named Mark Dalzell, who coaches my son. And I think many of you will graduate to contribute in many ways to your community, a community that we're all very, very proud of. Many of you are employed by people in our community. I see a person that checks out my groceries. I see people that serve me in restaurants.
Thank you, Mrs. Lovelace, for those kind words. Now we would like to welcome Mayor Ron Cullis, who will greet the grade 12.
Of your successful journey through childhood and adolescence. After 12 years of guidance and support from your families and teachers, you are assuming the responsibility to look ahead to your future, to establish and to work toward your own goals. Tonight, this room is filled with your energy and excitement and your youth waiting to break loose out here. While out there, there's pride and wisdom and most of all, a lot of caring. And for most of us, I'm sure, a great sigh of relief.
Many memories, lots of happy ones, and you'll take many with you. And there'll be some you'd rather not remember. Some memories will bring tears to your eyes, and some of them will want to make you grin, and some will want to make you giggle. I feel that way too. Do you feel hesitant? Because you're ready to leave. The time has come to discover another world, but so much of what you step into is the unknown.
Thank you, Mrs. Moore. We would like to take this time to congratulate Ann Tassari and Paulo Scaletta, who have won the Stellys Managers of the Year Award.
Congratulations also go out to Sherry Birdwhistle, who has won a full-time athletic scholarship for 4 years at Irvine University in California.
Thank you, Anne, Sherry, Lori O'Connell, and Kyla Thompson for all your efforts given to the senior girls basketball team, which placed 5th in the Island Championships this year.
We know that we speak on behalf of the entire grade 12 class when we say it's an honor and a privilege to introduce our next speaker.
Not only has he been a dedicated counselor and teacher, but a friend to all of us. Would you please welcome Mr. Bill Braun as he gives his address.
I wasn't at all nervous until about 3 seconds ago. Thank you very much for the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, class of 1989. This is a very special evening. We are here to recognize these young men and women who have reached a major plateau in their lives. And I can't believe not 8 hours ago, This group was in this gymnasium, running around in shorts, jeans, and running shoes, practicing and walking through their grand march and ending up in this position. Well done, folks. You did a great job. Also, 12 short years ago, they were completing their kindergarten year. You have really changed over those past 8 hours and those 12 hours. Sorry, 8 hours and 12 years. You're an outstanding group of young men and women. My personal congratulations to all of you. I mentioned 12 years ago to September 5th, 1977. For most of you, this was the starting date of your formal education. Another date to think about. What about September 2nd, 1985? A lot of you came to Stellys on this date as timid, insecure, but eager grade 9s, ready to tackle the big school. Do you remember that grade 9 initiation and the unfounded fears that went with it? And how about September 5th, 1988? Yes, that was the starting date of this year, your grade 12 year. And I guess you will concur with me that it goes by very, very quickly. I have a date that I also remember very well. This was March the 20th, 1989. For a lot of you, this was just a typical Monday, but for me, it's a date I will never forget. 6 of you made a decision on that Monday to select a member of the staff to speak on our behalf for the graduation group. I was very honored to be even considered for this position, but I thanked them very much and quickly said no. I suggested other staff members should be considered, as my selection would be termed biased because of my affiliation with Grad. And after what would I say to a grade 12 class, to 17 and 18 and 19-year-olds graduating from a high school in the late 1980s and facing that big bad world out there? And how could I make a presentation relevant, stimulating, maybe serious, or maybe even humorous? And how could I possibly follow Mr. Lee's fantastic speech from last year? I emphatically said no. Well, most of you know that on my wall in my office, there's a big sign that has 2 huge big black letters drawn on it, an N and an O. I practice those 2 letters every day. No, no. But as you can see, it didn't work. It seldom does. Annie, Susan, Marnie, Kathy, Lisa, and Kyla, I hope you realize you sacrificed at least 12 Douglas fir trees when you asked me to write this speech. I do, however, really appreciate this honor and thank you. And as a previous Stellys valedictorian once said, let's get on with it. Just don't let them see you sweat. My topic for this speech tonight could easily have been entitled Responsibility. Or how about do the best you can out there? Or lead that world. You all have the abilities to do very, very well. All of these are very relevant topics. But something drew my attention on a return from NITNAT 89. A song came on the radio somewhere between the bumps of Yubo and Ronnie Max and Duncan. It seemed perfect as to what I'd like you to remember. Some of you unwittingly tried to find its title for me, and I'm sure all of you will recognize the song from a television commercial. But this time, listen to the lyrics, to the words that both the songwriter and I would like you to remember. Listen carefully.
It doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter the way you move. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you cut your hair. It's what's inside that counts. It's what's inside that counts.
Let me reread those lyrics to you. Where you're from, it doesn't matter. What you wear, it doesn't matter. The way you move, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you cut your hair. It's what's inside that counts. Yes, that's my message for you this evening. It's really what's inside you that does count. Absolutely every one of you is a special person, and all of you have natural or learned skills and talents. Maybe it's your basketball skills, right, Bird? Or maybe it's your academic abilities, Laura and Bev and many others. Maybe it's Josh's cooking skills, or Brad's talents with that Toyota Celica. Or maybe it's Susan and Paulo's quiet demeanor. Maybe it's all of these things together. Whatever your abilities may be, use them to their fullest. But your personalities, your thoughts, your feelings, your dreams, and your friendships are equally, if not more important to remember. Express them, show them, remember them, cherish them. They can never ever be taken away from you. The world out there will deservedly recognize the doctors, the scientists, the professional athletes, and the famous celebrities. But remember each other for what's inside, for the friendships you have made, for the personalities of the people you have met. In the next 10 or 15 years, you will probably be surrounded by the computer age, with machinery and computers to fly you home from work, maybe a robot to cook your meals and serve it to you, maybe even something to clean your rooms. But do not forget the mums and the dads, the grandparents, the brothers and sisters, the people and the friends that have known and have helped shape your lives. Take the time to recognize them, to thank them for being there for you, and to tell them how important they are. Also, take the time to think about yourself. Your inside that counts. Now you can take the necessary steps to fulfill those dreams that you've lived with. Yes, it will take time, but be patient and work hard. To summarize my message for you is very difficult. However, 2 points came to mind. Firstly, I encourage all of you to do the very, very best you can in whatever you do, and most importantly, be happy while reaching your goals. Secondly, remember those friendships you've made. Take the time to recognize the people around you. Class of 1989, I would like to read one last verse for you. You will find it printed in our program for this evening, and I hope you take the time at your leisure to read it. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is
Grade 9s, we knew you as one of the friendly faces in the counseling area. You're always there to lend a much-needed hand with our timetables and course selections. But as we grew older and more mature, our problems seemed to as well. And again, you were there to talk to, and we knew that you really cared, and that you would offer advice, although we didn't always have the sense to take it. Over the past 4 years, you have become our close friend and confidant. Whether it was on a mucky soccer field in a rainy day, 50 miles from civilization with 30 incompetent campers, or spending hundreds of hours making sure everything for our graduation was perfect. Through troubled times, your patience seemed endless. Your hard work, dedication, support has gained our respect and serves as an inspiration for us all. Mr. Braun, we wish to thank you for all that you have done for us, for being there when we needed you, and most of all, for being that very special person that you are.
Thank you, Michelle. We would now like to wish good luck to Katie May and her future endeavors at Laval University in Quebec.
And to Mary Morrison after winning a $1,000 scholarship to Western University of Ontario.
time, we would like to introduce Stellys principal, Mr. Lyle Garraway, who will make a special presentation.
Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the grade 12 class. I'm speaking for a few minutes as the teacher advisor of Peter Dolezal, not as the principal of Stellys. Peter was a member of this class until he moved to Vancouver halfway through grade 11. Just before Christmas this year, he was killed in a car accident. As their other 3 children had graduated from Stellys, the family asked Stellys that a memorial award be established in his name. Tonight it will be presented for the first time. We normally do not present awards at the recognition ceremony, but as Peter was a member of this class, we are making an exception for this evening. Next year it will be presented at the regular awards assembly. The Peter Dolezal Memorial Award will consist of a cash amount of $2,000, a keeper trophy, and a school plaque to list the winner's name. The criteria for this award are the following: potential for leadership. The successful candidate must have demonstrated skills that suggest he or she has the potential to be a future leader in society. Citizenship. The recipient must have demonstrated good to excellent citizenship while at Stellys. Academics. The recipient must have grades that will permit entrance to post-secondary education. Athletics. The recipient must have been involved in Stellys' extracurricular program as a player, coach, or manager. Quality sportsmanship takes priority over athletic ability. There were 13 candidates nominated by the staff. There were 4 that were shortlisted to a final selection. I by no means wish to minimize the qualities of the winning candidate. The 4 candidates were extremely close, and it was a very, very difficult decision. I'm saying this to let you know the quality of the student body that we have here tonight. There were many students who could have been selected for this award, and I'm very proud to be able to say this. But as in all cases, there is one person who will be the recipient. I'd ask Mr. and Mrs. Dolezal if they would come forward, present the check and the trophy to Anna Tessari.
Thank you, Mr. Garraway, and congratulations, Anne.
We'd now like to call upon a couple of our fellow students, Mr. Chris Blackie and Mr. Paul Johnson, who will present on behalf of the grade 12 class an honorary graduation certificate.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, teachers and fellow graduates. We are here tonight to recognize an individual as an honorary member of our 1989 graduating class. Such an award has only been presented twice in the history of Stellys School. How is an individual chosen as an honorary graduate? The individual must be someone who has provided extensive service to the Stellys or in the community, someone whose memory can serve as a model for graduates.
To be selected, a candidate must receive support of a minimum of 75% of the graduating class through a show of hands or secret ballot. This year, a prospective name was submitted by our grade 12 students to the graduating committee. A vote was held, and upon counting the ballots, it was found that 100% of the graduated class voted yes to making this individual an honorary graduate. I'm very, very proud to say that the honorary member of our 1989 graduating class is Peter James Dalzell.
If we could get Peter's dad to come up and accept this award.
Thank you very much, Chris and Paul. At this time, we would like to recognize Mark Jones for winning a $20,000 Pacific Rim scholarship. Mark leaves for Japan in September. Congratulations.
Congratulations also goes to Laura Houghton and Joy Grant for placing in the Rotary Speech Contest. In their adventures in citizenship, Laura won a trip to Ottawa and Joy went to Calgary. Well done.
Special remarks will now be made to the graduating class by Mr. Wayne Hunter.
Mr. Hunter is presently Vice Principal at Mount Newton Middle School, but was once acting principal of our school during our grade 10 year. Please welcome Mr. Wayne Hunter.
Perhaps I should read all the rest of the speeches up here. In case you didn't hear anything tonight with the other speeches, mine has the same content. Class of '89, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is certainly a privilege for me to have been asked by the grade 12 class to be part of this celebration. I still consider myself an extended family member and appreciate you treating me as one. I quickly discovered 4 years ago how personable, demanding, and energetic you were. Math classes at first were a bit of a danger zone, until we recognized that at Stellys, there was one way to pull, and that was together. The feelings and expectations for many years to come, from all of your K to grade 8 teachers, and especially from me to you, with love, thank you and best wishes.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter. It is with a great deal of pleasure that we now introduce Miss Leloy Hayes, accompanied by Mr. Rob Trelford on the piano.
what you mean to me. I'd like to sing for the grad class of 1989, the theme song from Beaches, The Wind Beneath My Wings. It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine. That's your way. You always walked a step behind. my wings.
I have a message for the senior class from Becky de Bluck, our exchange student who has returned to Germany. She sends her congratulations and wishes she could be here, and she knows that we all miss her just as much. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please place yourself 10 years in the future as we have a special presentation?
I can't believe it's actually been 10 years since I graduated from this place. 1999. Wow. Dave, is that you?
Yeah. Good to see you.
Great. I didn't know you were here.
Yeah, I just got here a few minutes ago. So how you been doing?
Oh, okay. And
Good.
yourself?
Oh, not bad. What have you been up to lately?
Oh, working hard. I got married a couple years ago, and we're thinking about starting a family.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. My wife and I are also thinking about having kids. I remember back when I said to myself I'd never have kids because of all the things I did with my parents.
Yeah, me too. But thinking about becoming a parent, though, it makes me realize all the hardships that my parents went through in making me the person that I am today. I keep wondering, what kind of mother I'll be, if I'll have the same kind of influence on my kids as my parents had on me.
Yeah. Well, I knew then what I know now. I sure would have treated them with a lot more respect.
Yeah.
Shown my appreciation towards them a lot more. So I tell you, sure wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for them.
No. And how often have we ever thanked them for it?
I don't think I've ever thanked my parents for that. I always found it hard to thank them.
Yeah. So...
Yeah. Well, how's the reunion been so far?
Great. I've seen a lot of old friends.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
How about Paul Johnson and Brad Franklin? Are they here?
Oh, you mean Bill and Ted?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're here.
Yeah?
Yeah. What about Warren Brander? Do you know if he's coming?
I don't think so. I think he's finally got himself a rock band together, and they're up touring in the Northwest Territories.
He's not singing, is he?
I hope not. Are there any teachers here? Or?
Yeah, quite a few actually.
Really?
Yeah.
How about Mr. Sadner?
Oh yeah, he's here.
Is he? Or he still hasn't started shaving yet, eh?
No. It's really funny. He looks exactly the same. I bet he still gets ID'd at movies too.
How about Miss Rowe? Is she here?
No, but I heard she'll be here shortly.
It's not like another Mr. Lee here.
God, thanks a lot.
Is he here tonight,
Yeah,
Mr.
no,
Lee?
well, he's not here yet, but I know he's coming. Yeah.
Is he? Remember his obsession over the Montreal Canadiens?
The Montreal what?
You know, the Canadiens. They folded about 5 years ago, I think?
Yeah, the hockey team. I remember that, yeah. We'll have to remember to mention that if we see them tonight.
For sure.
They were great, weren't they?
Who, the Canadiens?
No, the teachers.
Oh, yeah, they're terrific.
Yeah. Did you ever find yourself in a jam or some kind of trouble and you remembered something one of them said or did and it helped to pull you through?
Mm-hmm. Many a time during those tough years at university.
I remember Mr. Munch's English 12 class. He used to make us write those stupid outlines. I hated them so much at the time, but and he kept pushing at me and helping me through. And in university and my career, it helped me so much. And I don't just mean the outlines either. I mean the perseverance as well.
Yeah, they provided quite a stepping stone for us into the real world. There wasn't just us either. They had to care for 600 or 700 other students. They found time for each and every one of us. That was great.
It's weird how close everyone got during those years, I mean, we kept looking forward to graduation, but when it finally came, it was almost like the end of a lifetime.
But actually, a few years later, I realized that it was actually, the beginning of a new New lifetime.
Yeah, but you have to admit it was hard to say goodbye to everybody.
It was. But that night wasn't a night of goodbyes. It was a night to which we said hello to a new era.
Yeah, but we can't forget all the good times in the old era either.
Yeah, like knit-nat.
Yeah.
That's great. I'll never forget that. And the athletic banquet.
Yeah, and the talent show.
Staff grad.
And fame. We can't forget fame. Brings back a lot of memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the people we shared them with, too? I mean, our friends. I wonder what they're up to now. Have you kept in touch with anybody?
Not as many as I would have liked to, but I still talk to Chris Johnson quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
He married Darcy, as everybody expected.
Yeah. I see Leroy once in a while still. She's now a chemist.
Oh, no, that's
Scary.
Yeah. So what's Show up to then?
Show? I heard he's still mowing lawns.
Oh, no. Well, you don't seem to have changed much over 10 years.
You don't think so?
Oh, not
Actually, I think I've changed quite a bit, inside anyway. Different things that are important to me now. My values have changed, and I've gotten to know myself so that if things go wrong in my life, I can deal with them myself. I'm not afraid to change anymore. I think most people have probably changed more than we realize.
Yeah, I know I have. I remember back in those 4 years in Stellys, anytime a teacher told me what to do, I'd always have to have a word in edgewise. Since then, I've learned that to save my breath, because there's no point. I've learned there's no point starting an argument.
Yeah.
Learn to save my energy for better things.
Well, I guess we better get going back to the group and see what everyone else has been
Where's
up to.
everybody anyway?
The cafeteria. They're just about to serve dinner.
Are they? Who organized this anyway?
I'm pretty sure it's Mr. Braun.
Really? Oh, you know it's going to be good then.
Yeah, remember what a great job he did with Grad.
Yeah, that was terrific.
Yeah.
I guess it was about 10 years ago tonight we were heading off to Harbour Towers for dinner.
Yeah, graduation. Talk about bittersweet. Wonder if it'll be as hard to say goodbye to everyone tonight as it was then.
Who knows? At least we can look forward to seeing everybody another 10 years.
Yeah.
Wonder if Mr. Bunyan's going to be here.
I don't know. Probably. Hey, isn't that Mr. Tooby?
I think so.
Mr. Tooby, wait up!
Hey!
Ladies and gentlemen, Stellys valedictorians for the class of 1989, Miss Beverly Wake and Mr. Dave Smart.
It is with great pleasure that we call upon Mr. Lyle Garraway, principal of Stellys School, for his closing remarks.
Members of the grade 12 class, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, I know how proud all of you are. I have the privilege of being equally proud, if not even prouder. One thing you learn real fast as principal at Stellys is when it's your turn to speak, your speech better be about the same as Mr. Hunter's stature, real short. And when Mrs. Lovelace started the evening off talking about time, that meant real short time. It's been a long but a beautiful evening. I won't stretch it more than a few minutes. It's interesting that Bev and David chose to project 10 years ahead for their valedictory address. Next Friday night, Stelly's first grade 12 class will be having their 10-year reunion right here at the school. Before addressing the grade 12s, I would like to take a second to thank two very special people. Roz Taylor, who has been with the school since its beginning, has chosen early retirement. Thanks, Roz, for being an integral part of Stellys. Greg Bunyan, one of our vice principals, is leaving to accept a principalship. Thanks, Greg, and good luck in your new position. The class of '89, as you've heard tonight is a very special group. Individually, you have already accomplished a lot, and as a class, you have taken Stellys another step further ahead. You should be proud of your personal, academic, athletic, and cultural successes. It is your group that has initiated the school's talent show and has taken our theater and dance program to a new dimension. It is your group that has received academic scholarships at and beyond the local universities, Carleton, Western, Royal Roads, Japan. It is your group that is sending an athlete to a California university on a full athletic scholarship. To me, these are signs that the school is continuing to grow and mature, and I thank you for that. You are a great group of young people of whom we are all very proud. Through your own initiative and the support of your families, friends, and school, you have reached a new pinnacle. I have one word for you to tuck in the back of your mind for the future, and that is commitment. Because it will be the depth of commitment that you are prepared to make to yourself, to your family, to new relationships, and to your career that will greatly influence your personal success. Good luck in the future. Have a great weekend. Be careful, and go get 'em.
Thank you for joining us this evening for Stelly's 11th annual recognition ceremony. Refreshments will now be served in the multi-purpose room.
Before leaving, would you all please stand and join us in singing God Save the Queen?
There's a time for joy, a time
Somebody you know? Oh yeah, that's my son. Are you proud? Oh yeah. You taking a picture of me?
Harbor Towers. And then after grad at Island View Beach.
Well, she got her daddy's car and she cruised through the hamburger stand now. Seems she forgot all about the library when she told her old man. And with the radio blast.
job anywhere in the world, anytime.
Yeah.
You can travel the whole world doing that.
I already got someone to make me an apprentice. 3 years in Brunswick.
Yeah.
So this guy's been around the country, so I'm pretty lucky to meet him.
I want to start my own clothing business, actually. I'm a seamstress, and I'm heading towards business. I like working in business, so I'll just...
You'll have to go to Italy.
Italy.
For the clothing, yeah.
Maybe. I wouldn't mind, actually. That'd be fun. I think it would be. I'm waiting for someone to get here.
What time does the party start?
It started at 10.
10:30?
10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh yeah, so you can go in anytime. Well, I'm gonna go to the party. We will see you there.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah.
for the visit.
Yeah, sure.
Bye-bye.
Hey baby, you got to remember, that forever you're girl. Baby, forever, and ever, you know I love you. Baby, pick your head up, come on, look me in the face. 'Cause I can tell that something is bringing you down. Is it the rumor that another boy wants to take your place? Is that in your heart? Have you been hearing the stories that going around? All of my friends are talking. Baby, just remember I gave you my heart. Ain't no one gonna tear us apart. You could promise the moon and the stars above, even if he promised me the world. Just remember it forever, your girl. He could promise the world. You got to remember forever, your girl. Hey, baby. Honey, listen to me. Your love is all I need. You should know that I don't need nothing that money can buy. Just promise you'll never leave me. So if a boy were to come along, try to make believe it, girl, I'm out of my mind. Baby, no need to worry. I'm telling you why. I need to hear that you really love me. Baby, don't you know that I love you? And I never put nobody above you. He could promise the moon and the stars above, even if he promised me the world. Just remember it forever, your girl. He could promise the world. You got to remember forever, your girl. When the mountains crumble into the sea, that's the day someone will come between you and me. Baby, just remember I gave you my heart. Ain't no one gonna tear us apart. Baby, he could promise me diamonds, even if he promised me pearls. Honey, you know I ain't lying. Listen as I tell it to the world. You got to remember, baby, remember. You got to
There's a lack of air in there, that's the only thing. Need a window.
It's pretty out here tonight, too.
It is, it's nice, right? It was hot this afternoon. The grad ceremonies were hot.
What are you going to do next year?
School. Well, mine's like a story. Florida State, maybe. Maybe.
Jamming.
last words from Stellys Grad Party.
but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Have a safe, fun-filled evening. Thank you again for this honor. My very best wishes to all of you.